John Lebon is an Australian conspiracy theorist who labels himself the world's leading skeptic, and he has firm opinions on many topics such as 9/11, dinosaurs and even flat earth. Today though, we're going to take a look at a video he made regarding a hypothetical experiment, and it's pretty bad. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we dive into John Lebon's hypothetical experiment, we're going to take a quick look at something that Bob from Globebusters recently said.
A 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Yes, that Bob. Speaking during Jeranism's Friday Lounge, he had this to say about the coronavirus.
That's not the only cure either, Eru. There's I don't know if you guys saw, but they said that there's video going out, and it actually came from the World Health Organization, that they say that the coronavirus cannot survive in a temperature above, I think it's 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And so what they're recommending that people do, and they say this actually works and it's been tried everywhere, and this came from the World Health Organization, is if you take a blow dryer, right, and turn it on high heat and inhale the hot air, what it does is it gets into your mucous membranes and your sinuses, and very shortly the coronavirus actually collapses and dies. And this is true with a lot of these so-called viruses that it kills. And this came from the World Health Organization. I can show you the docs here in a second.
The World Health Organization would never suggest something as ludicrous as this. Once that virus is inside our bodies, the only way it dies is if it's by our own immune system. Stop suggesting such ridiculous things, Bob.
A 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Yes, we know you proved Earth's rotation, but that's not going to get you out of this one, Bob. Shame on you. Shame on you. We'll be taking a little look further into the coronavirus and 5G in a Tinfoil Tuesday later this month. But for now, let's get back to the main content of today's video as we join the world's leading skeptic, John Lebon, as he starts his hypothetical experiment.
Hypothetically, imagine that somebody offered to pay you to perform a scientific experiment and they were willing to give you a lot of money to do so, as well as a big warehouse in which to perform the experiment. Sound good so far?
Yeah, sounds okay actually.
Imagine that they wanted you to calculate the mass of the entire planet. That's right, the mass of Earth. How much time and money do you think you would need to perform such a feat?
About a day and 20 quid.
Remember, they are willing to provide you with a warehouse and pay you handsomely for the time it takes you to perform the experiment. So how much time and money would you need? But wait, there's a catch. You're not allowed to use any electricity and certainly no internet.
Fine, not an issue.
In fact, you are not even allowed to use light bulbs to help you see in the dark. You have to perform the experiment with technology no more advanced than that found in the 1700s. So how much time and money would you need to perform the experiment and arrive at an accurate result?
About a day and 20 quid.
There's one more catch. When I said warehouse, what I really meant was a shed. To make it up to you though, imagine you were also offered the use of the finest telescopes available to man in the 1700s. And, should you find them useful, you would also be provided with giant lead balls and a torsion balance. Now, hypothetically speaking, how much time and money do you think you would need to perform this experiment?
Oh, in that case then I need about a day and 5 quid for lunch.
Come on, you're a smart person. How much time and money would you need to calculate the mass of the entire planet using 1700s technology? If you're a sane, honest person, your answer is probably something along the lines of, well, that is absurd.
Well, not really, because you can use your lead balls and torsion bar to figure out the gravitational constant. Then, once you've done that, you find out the mass of one of your balls, you find out the force it exerts in newtons, then a quick rearrangement of Newton's formula will get you the mass of the Earth. Simples.
Because it is. The notion that you could determine the mass of the Earth with 1700s technology in a shed is so laughable you would think it comes straight out of some religious textbook.
It's actually what makes science so brilliant. We can all do it. Check out this clip from YouTuber Gigi, who shows us how it's done.
Eventually, I was able to get this angle of 3 degrees, or 0.0523599 radians, a radius of 0.17526 meters, and a period of 31 minutes, or 1,860 seconds. When plugged into the equation, I get a value of 9.018 times 10 to the negative 10. Woohoo! Wait, why am I celebrating? Because considering the value of g is so incredibly small and there were large uncontrollable variables in my experiment, such as air currents or the frame rate of my time lapse, which would cause error, it is in the very close ballpark of g. Here are the two numbers written out for a more clear comparison of their difference. Science on a budget does not always get you the right decimal.
Amazing.
And here's the fun part. It does. But what kooky religion claims that their clergy can weigh the earth in a shed with 1700s technology? And what kind of utter morons could possibly believe such nonsense? Why can't they see that their priests are shameless liars and frauds, and their holy books not worthy of the paper they're printed on? For $64,000, which religion claims that its clergy can weigh the entire earth with 1700s technology in a shed?
Really, John? Do we really need this silly game show parody for this?
Our survey said...
A. Mormonism. B. Islam. C. Scientology. D. Scientism. If you guessed D. Scientism, you're correct.
Very immature, John.
But what is scientism? It can be described in a few different ways, but here's one simple definition. The religious belief system which is underpinned by faith in the scientific establishment. Key word there is faith. Like most religions, scientism has its own customs and nomenclature. The religion of scientism calls its clergy scientists, and they have seminaries all over the world where they preach their gospel and evangelize to the public. And, like most religions, scientism teaches its young followers that without this belief system, society as we know it could not function today, and those who doubt it are heretics to be outcast and ostracized. Scientism also teaches that when all people adhere to the teachings of its books, a new and better age will be ushered in. As is the case with many religions, most adherents to scientism don't actually know what is written in their own holy books.
No. Science is much more than that. Science today is built on hundreds of years of knowledge and understanding. As the great Richard Feynman once said,
but it is not complicated. It's just a lot of it. And if you'd start at the beginning, which nobody wants to do, I mean, you come in to me now in an interview and you're asking me about the latest discoveries that have been made. Nobody ever asks about a simple, ordinary phenomenon in the street. Like, what about those colors? Or something like that. We have a nice interview and explain all about the colors, butterfly wings, whole big deal. We don't care about that. We want the big final result. So then it's going to be complicated because I am at the end of 400 years a very effective method of finding things out about the world.
and that is exactly the point. We are all at the end of a 400-year journey of finding things out about the world. And it is exactly why you can trust the stuff that is written in these books. The work has been done.
But wait, modern science doesn't really claim that they can weigh the Earth with 1700s technology in a shed, do they? Oh yes they do, and not only that, they claim it was already done by Saint Henry Cavendish, who performed the ritual, known in scientism as an experiment, in the late 1700s, before the light bulb was even invented.
What's your obsession with the light bulb? Because many things were either discovered or invented before the light bulb was. Glasses, the electromagnetic spectrum, algebra, telescopes, to name a few.
And the result of his rituals have been used as the basis of astrophysics ever since. When you go to Wikipedia and see that Mars is alleged to weigh 6.39 times 10 to the 23 kilograms, you can thank Saint Cavendish for his miraculous ritual.
Indeed, without the big G value, it would be very hard to do that.
According to Scientism scripture, he determines the mass of the entire Earth with this ritual in his own backyard shed. And here's the best bit. He did so by the use of heavy lead balls hanging from that torsion balance. Yes, this is actually what science textbooks claim if you bother to read them. Look, here's proof. From the Oxford Dictionary of Physics 4th edition, C is for Henry Cavendish, British chemist and physicist, born in France. Although untrained, his inheritance from his grandfather, the Duke of Devonshire, enabled him to live as a recluse and study science. In his experiments with gases, he correctly distinguished between hydrogen and carbon dioxide, and in 1781 synthesized water by exploding hydrogen in oxygen. He also constructed a torsion balance in 1798, with which he measured the mean density, and hence mass, of the Earth.
And the problem with that is...
that awkward moment when you thought you were not religious, then you discovered you have faith in the kookiest religion of all. But don't worry, this is just a YouTube video. There is no way a smart person like you could really have been fooled by your schools and government.
That awkward moment that a conspiracy theorist thinks that the governments and the schools invented the science that we read in books. Oh dear.
After all, you studied really hard and got good grades and... oh no. If modern science were a religion, then the fact that you did well at school would actually mean you were more indoctrinated than the average person, making it even harder for you to admit you had been fooled, just like religious believers in all other faiths. But don't worry, it's okay. This is just a YouTube video. You can click off now and tell yourself that whoever produced this video is just a liar and probably made up this stuff about science saying that some guy weighed the earth in a shed 200 years ago. And after all, even if science does say that Cavendish did that, he was probably some super smart guy, way ahead of his time.
Actually, he was. The great James Clerk Maxwell discovered that Cavendish had written about many physics topics before anyone else, including the unit of capacitance, Dalton's law of partial pressures, and Coulomb's law.
After all, this is science we're talking about. How could it possibly be a religious system? Everybody knows that science is not about teaching dogma, but about questioning things, which is why you, and 99% of believers in scientism, don't even know what is written in your own textbooks, isn't it?
No, that's just your perception of how we study science, and you couldn't be more wrong. If you are in the position of correcting something within science that has already been done, then you would have studied and you would know about every single little thing in terms of the topic you are correcting.
No, religions believe in crazy things, like men walking on water or parting the seas. These things are way kookier than some guy 200 years ago weighing the entire earth with heavy lead balls in a shed before the light bulb was even invented. That's science. If you're among the small percentage of people who is willing to use his or her own brain and think for yourself, please proceed on to the following video, Receders Leaves the Cult Behind. You will hear the testimony of a man who used to believe in the kooky stuff we were all taught as children until he started asking questions.
Do you mean watching YouTube videos? Because this is how you woke people get into it, isn't it? Watching awful videos like yours. Dear oh dear, John. What a horribly misinformed video. Good job you don't have many followers, hey? Right, let's leave John there for today. That brings an end to today's episode of Tinfoil Tuesday. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please do like and subscribe. It would be thoroughly appreciated. I've been Simon Dan. Stay safe, stay at home, stay well. Have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the second episode of the Simon Dan Show. See you then.